All right, guys. Hey, today we got a powerful lesson for you, okay? It is going to be on shot speed, okay? Speed control, how we quantify it, how we measure it, how we label it, because it's called weight, shot weight, okay? We're going to get into, most importantly, how to execute certain speed shots, okay? So we know where the cue ball is going to stop, all right? That is very important, obviously, in any type of billiards game. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to go into various speeds and even little feather shot, finesse feather shots, which is one of the hardest shots for most amateur pool players. I can't tell you how many times I've coached somebody to just barely hit the ball and they hit it way too hard. Okay, it is a great shot to know. Let's dive in. Stick with me for a few minutes. We're going to dive into speed control, baby. All right, so let's dive into speed control. What does that mean? Well, my friend Dominic always talks about, he's a good teacher, he talks about shot speed, and he has a way to quantify the distance of each speed shot. Okay, so shooting lengthwise on the table, every half table, okay, that's a half table, is a one shot speed, guys. Okay, so let's try to do a one shot speed, which would be from here just past the side pocket. Okay, a one shot speed. Perfect. Let's do a two shot speed. Okay, we'll see if we can get close. All right, just a tiny bit short. I would have liked to have seen it hit that back rail and come back the same distance. So let's just try that just a little bit harder. Okay, perfect. That is a two shot speed. Three shot speed now. Let's try to get back to around the center of the table. So it's a very light leg weight here. Perfect. That's a three shot speed. We are within one diamond and one diamond of the zone. Now let's try to get leg weight and bring this cue ball pretty much back to where it is. And that's a four speed shot weight. Okay, a little light. Let's do it again. Okay, so I'm going to practice my four speed stroke here and follow through. Okay, this is leg weight. And here it is. Okay, we're about a half a diamond over. Would have been better to be right there. Let's just try that four weight one more time so I can try to get that right. Perfect. Okay, right back to where I started. That is a perfect four weight. Okay, so you saw we did the one weight, the two weight, the three weight, and the four weight. Let's get into a little bit more. All right, so let's get into three more weights: five weight, six weight, and seven weight. Okay, as you get a little higher, it gets a little bit harder to judge, but let's try a five weight. Five weight, we know that a leg weight is four to bring it back here because that's four halves of the table. All the way down, all the way back is four halves, right? So a leg weight is four. That's kind of your set point for determining everything, I think, is the leg weight. Okay, so we want a little bit harder than leg weight because we want the cue ball to come back to the center table. Okay, so here is a five weight. One, two, three. Okay, and yeah, we're still within one diamond here. Perfect. Okay, so six weight now. Let's try to get the cue ball back there. Three full lengths of the table is a six weight. Okay, I think we're just on the one diamond. Perfect. Okay, and 7 weight. We're just going to bring it back to the center of the table. So a little bit harder. Oh, just a hair short. Okay, probably 6 inches and I would have been in the zone. So let's just try that again. Perfect. We're just in the center zone within one diamond of the center pockets. Okay, so that's the 5, 6, and 7 weight. How do you apply that in a game? All right, now, obviously, in a game, we're not just shooting cue balls up and down the table unless we're lagging, right? Normally, we're shooting an object ball of some sort, okay? In this case, we're shooting the 6 ball here, the green 6. Um, so normally, if we were just shooting the cue ball down and back, we want to land into the center of the table here, have an easy shot on the 8, okay? This is our goal. Yes, there's a margin. We could be short. We could be long. It still goes. Our goal is the center of the table. Aim small, miss small. Okay, so it's important to know that when you are cutting balls, the same percentage of the cut angle is what the energy is taken out of the cue ball. What does that mean, Big Al? Okay, let's talk about a few different cut angles. 1/8, 1/4, a half a ball hit, 3/4 ball hit, and a 7/8 ball hit. Okay, so basically a 7/8 is almost straight on. It's taking most of all the energy out of the cue ball. An eighth of a ball hit. Yes, you can go thinner. You can go 16th of a ball, but we're just going to talk about eighth of a ball hit. It's only taking about 1/8 of the energy out of the cue ball. This scenario here is basically a half ball hit to take this to the corner. It is going to take how much of the energy out of the cue ball? Half. So if I wanted to go down and back up to center, what is that? 2 weight, but half of the energy, at least after I make contact with the object ball, half of the energy is going to be released. So essentially, a lag weight would probably put me over here because after I make contact with the ball, it is going to lose half its weight. So I do have a little bit of travel time to get to the ball. So if we just pass this side pocket, that's probably a perfect 4 weight. Okay, so maybe I just might want to go 3.5 weight. Just kind of judge that, and we'll see if we can end up center table. Okay. Here we go, 1 tip above center, guys. That's all we need because we want to naturally roll this cue ball. Okay, so a little over. That was probably a 4 weight, basically. Okay, so maybe let's try to get that 3.5 weight, and we can see if we can just do that a little more accurate with the speed control, guys. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, right to the center of the table. All right, so let's look at a couple other examples of how the energy is taken out of the cue ball. All right, guys, hey, another example. We have the 8 ball down here. Let's just put that right on the center. And we have an object ball here that we're going to take to the side pocket. It is an 8th ball hit, okay? So what is our travel distance? Well, basically we have 1/2 a table, 2/2 of a table, and 3/2 of a table. So we need a 3 weight, right? Well, not exactly, because this is an 8th ball hit. It's going to take about an eighth of the cue ball energy out of it. So we want just a little bit over a 3 weight. Okay, not much. We just want to get back down to this short rail. I'm not going to put any spin on the ball. Yes, we may get close to scratching. I don't care. I'm not going to put any spin on the ball because that changes the speed outcome of this demonstration. Okay, so let's try to get close to this short rail here. at about a 3 to 3.5 weight. Check it out. Okay, so 1/8 ball hit. Perfect. Okay, we are just a few inches off of the back rail here. So that was a good basic 3.5 weight we had there because we lost a bit of it, about 15% of it, to that 1/8 ball cut shot. Okay, let's check out another example. Okay, another example. We are going to go forward. We're going to take this 12 to the corner, and we're going to try to weight it right so that we can come into this zone here. Not going to apply any spin. This is a natural rolling cue ball, guys, okay? So check this out. This is basically a center to edge shot. Not quite 100%, but we are going to play one tip above center, and we're going to have to try to figure out our weight. So it's almost a half ball hit, so it's going to take half of the energy out of the cue ball, right, guys? Okay, so we generally need 1, 2, and 3 weight to try to get back down to this end. Okay, we're going to be losing half of our energy into that 12 ball. So what does that mean? If we want a 3 weight without hitting any ball, we're probably going to have to play about a 6 weight, at least a 5.5 to 6. Okay, so let's do this here. One tip above center, about a 6 weight. Watch what happens, guys. All right. Well, I don't think you can get any better than that. That is how you judge the weight of the cue ball, guys. Okay? Okay, guys. Let's try the perfect 2-speed shot. All right, guys. So what about the harder pace shots? 7, 8, 9, and even 10. Well, I will tell you that about 85% of players cannot hit over an 8 shot weight. Okay? A 10 shot weight is about 30 miles per hour, 29 or 30 miles per hour. Do you need a break cue? If you cannot shoot over an 8 weight, no, you do not need a break cue. It is a waste of money, in my opinion. It doesn't give you that much more power unless you are able to put power into it. The brake cue primarily is so that you do not damage your ferrule or your tip. You don't want to flatten it out, you don't want to wear it out, smooth it out, and you don't want to crack a ferrule. Okay, if you are breaking an 8, 9, or 10 weight with your playing cue, yeah, you should probably get a breaking cue. Okay, it'll probably help you and it'll save your playing cue. Everybody else, you don't really need a break cue. Okay, so let's do a break shot here. I'll probably do about a 9 weight, okay, maybe a 10 weight. All right, let's see what it looks like. Okay, when I break, I like to go low on the cue ball, and when I come up a little bit like this, my tip rises. We'll try to get a little bit of cue ball control, but I'm really just going to show you the weight, and this is about a 9 weight here, okay? We got cue ball control, but then we got a kick. It was actually just about to stop in the center of the table. We didn't make anything, but we had a good break. Yes, this is a break cue. That was probably a 9 to 10 weight in the break. Okay, so unfortunately, I didn't make anything, and my opponent probably is just going to run me out now. Okay, so let's get in to how to play some feather shots. So now we're talking a half weight or even a quarter weight, a quarter of one. How do you do those? Check it out. All right, guys. Hey, check out this scenario here. All right. Yes, there are a couple different ways to take this to make it legal. One of them is a feather shot, hitting it at about one quarter of a one weight. Very soft. I'll tell you how to do it in a second. Okay. Can you make this without double hitting it? Yes. But this is a double hit shot. First of all, you can hear the tick tick, and second of all, the cue ball is going to travel at the same speed as the object ball. Okay, that is a foul. So how do we do it without jacking up and putting backspin on it? Why don't I want backspin? Because I want to stay here for the 8 ball. Okay, so let's make that about half an inch. All right. So how do we make this legal shot? Number one, chalk up. Number two, put your hand nice and close to the ball. In fact, I like to put the cue ball right into my little C or L or however you look at it, okay? Move my hand nice and close. Okay, I'm careful not to touch the cue ball. Number three, play high action. Why? Because you can get your tip out of the way quicker. Okay, so I'm nice and close so that I can only pull back about a half an inch. And we perform a legal shot, a nice little feather shot, and I'm left with a good shot on the 8. All right, so could we jack up on that shot and make it legal? Yes, but then I wouldn't have shape on the 8, guys, because I'd likely get backspin to over here. And let's just put that straight on here. All right, so it's about half inch or so. There we go. All right, so let's try to make this a legal shot by jacking up on it. Okay, great. Well, I still have a shot on the 8 ball. It's just not as good as before. Sometimes you have to learn how to do those feather shots, not just to make a ball and to make shape, but to play safe, guys, okay? There is a million and one safeties that require a soft, tiny little tap. And how many players do you see try those ones and over hit them, okay? So let's start quantifying our weight, our speed of our shots, our shot speed in numbers instead of saying soft, medium, hard. Players don't understand that. How often have you given somebody a coach and say, just hit it soft, and they go ahead and do this? Because to them, that's soft. When I say soft, I'm talking about this. All right? But I can say that's a one weight. And that was about a one, just under a one shot. Okay? So let's quantify it. I hope you learned something in the lesson, guys. Let's make these shots. Everything from the 10 break shot weight to the half of a one shot weight and a little feather shot. Okay, they're all important. Now we know how to label them, how to say how we're going to do them, and how to execute them. Okay, when the object ball takes out some of the steam, some of the energy out of the cue ball, we know how to judge how hard we need to hit it. So practice those different weights, without any object balls. Practice them up and down the table and get them bang so they become second nature. All right, and then you'll be able to make shape almost every time because you know where your cue ball is going to stop. All right, and that's going to get you more W's. Talk soon, guys. See you at the next lesson.